Welcome to lesson 4, simplifying complex fractions. All right, now this is going to be a self-paced lesson, so feel free to fast forward, rewind, or pause the video as you feel that you need. So if you feel like you're getting it and you want to fast forward the video and then just come back and check your answers, that's fine. If you want to rewind and rewatch a problem or a question, feel free to do so. Or if you want to pause the video and ask your instructor some questions, feel free to do that as well. All right, so lesson 4, complex fractions and unit rates. First, let's talk about what a complex fraction is. Complex fractions are fractions with a numerator, denominator, or both that are also fractions. Complex fractions are simplified when both the numerator and the denominator are integers. The denominator cannot be 0, okay? Now, you may have heard this before, but this is very important, that fractions can be written as division problems. So whenever you see a fraction, really you're just taking the numerator divided by the denominator. Okay, so we're going to look at this first example. 2/3 over 7. So really here we have 2/3 divided by 7. So let's write it like that. 2/3 divided by 7. Now, anytime that we're taking a fraction and we're dividing it by a whole number, or vice versa, we're taking a whole number divided by a fraction, we can actually turn this whole number into a fraction by putting the whole number over 1. So let's go ahead and do that. 2/3 divided by 7 over 1. Okay? So that's our new problem. Now, when dividing fractions, we want to take the first fraction and multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So we're going to take 2/3 and we're going to multiply it by the reciprocal of 7 over 1, which is 1/7. Okay? Now we're just going to go ahead and we're going to multiply straight across. 2 times 1 is 2, and 3 times 7 is 21. So our simplified fraction for our original complex fraction is 2 over 21. And there you go, we have our answer. All right. Now, when we use complex fractions to find unit rates, things are a little bit different. So when the fractions of a complex fraction represent two different units, you can find a unit rate. Okay, so let's look at some of these problems. Tia is painting her house. She paints 34.5 square feet in 3/4 of an hour. At this rate, how many square feet can she paint in each hour? So we're trying to figure out how many square feet she can paint in 1 hour. Well, first, let's go ahead and write down the rate that we already know from the problem. So we know that she can paint 34.5 square feet in 3/4 of an hour. Okay, now this is a complex fraction because we've got 34.5 over 3/4. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to write this complex fraction as a division problem. So I'm going to take 34.5 and I'm going to divide it by 3/4. Now, when we're dividing fractions, we can't have mixed numbers. So we want to go ahead and turn this mixed number into an improper fraction. In order to do that, we're going to take 34 times the denominator, which is 2. 34 times 2 should be 68, and then we're going to add the numerator. So 68 plus 1 is 69. So 69 is our new numerator. Our denominator stays the same of 2. And then we're going to divide it by 3/4. Now, again, anytime we're solving a problem where we're dividing fractions, really we want to take the first fraction and multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right over here. 69 over 2 times the reciprocal of 3/4, which is 4 over 3, so 4/3. Now, with this multiplication problem, I can actually simplify right now. So I can cross cancel to help me simplify. 2 and 4 have a common factor of 2, so I'm going to divide them both by 2. I'm going to get 1 and 2. 69 and 3 have a common factor of 3, so I'm going to go ahead and divide each of them by 3 and get 1. And then 69 divided by 3 should be 23. Now I'm going to multiply straight across. 23 times 2 is 46. 1 times 1 is 1. And don't forget, my units on top are 46 square feet over 1 hour. There you go. I now have my unit rate that I'm looking for. I know how many square feet she painted each hour. Okay, now number 3, I want you to go ahead and try number 3 on your own. So go ahead and pause the video, give it a try, and then come back here and check your answer as soon as you are ready. All right, let's go ahead and check our answer. So we know that Mr. Kyle is spreading mulch in his yard. He spreads 4 2/3 square yards in 2 hours. So I'm gonna go ahead and write down the rate that I know. 4 2/3 square yards in 2 hours. Now I know that any complex fraction or any fraction at all can be written as a division problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. 4 2/3 divided by 2. Now there's a couple things that I need to do here. I need to get rid of this mixed number. So I'm going to take 4 times 3, which is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. So now I've got 14/3 divided by, instead of using a whole number of 2, I'm going to turn 2 into a fraction by putting it over 1. So 14/3 divided by 2 over 1. Now I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, so I'm going to take 14/3 times, instead of 2 over 1, I'm going to have 1 over 2, or 1/2. Now I can actually simplify right now before I do any multiplying, so I'm going to do that. 14 and 2 have a common factor of 2, so I'm going to divide them both by 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7, 2 divided by 2 is 1. Now I should have a final answer of 7 times 1 is 7 over 3 times 1 is 3. Okay. Now I still don't have a unit rate because I've got 7 over 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, just in my head, 7 divided by 3. Or I can take 7 over 3 and turn it back into a mixed number. So 7 over 3 would be 2 1/3 square yards. And I can set that over 1 hour. And I have my final answer. Okay, go ahead, check your work using my answer key. See your teacher if you have any questions. If you feel confident with this material, go ahead and start the practice.